Sirza, and I read what Sirza had to say, and he's a distinguished writer and author and so forth and so on, despite the fact that this same organization recommends Mackey, Waite, Pike, Coyle as world authorities on Masonry, and Sirza is not in their class.
I'm going to say one of the things that you love to say, and I've seen you say on many, many occasions. You quote out of context. You take a paragraph. Your girl, Sharon Mather, at the Christian Research Institute, sent me 12 paragraphs on why Masonry was not Christian.
Not from me.
No.
I didn't quote out of context.
The paragraphs came out of...
But I didn't do it.
Well, Sharon did.
But I didn't. I'm not Sharon.
And told me why Masonry was not Christian, and why I shouldn't be a Mason and a Christian at the same time.
Yeah.
Morals and Dogma, and a lot of it didn't even have to do with the 3 degrees. Morals and Dogma is 1,000 pages long. The books you just had there are hundreds of, and in many cases more than 1,000 pages, and you give me a paragraph and say, this says it, and you've done the same thing to people that'll pick things out of the Bible.
Would you say that what I quoted to you is out of context?
It's out of context with the whole chapter, with the whole thing that everybody said.
Oh boy, I'd love to read. I recommend those.
We
books.
don't have time to go through the whole.
No, we don't.
No, but we do have time to go into the 3 degrees in a couple of minutes. But
certainly.
you know, you said something before that was interesting. When I made a statement last week about Hindus and Buddhists and everybody, sort of fatherhood of God, brotherhood of man, neighborhood of lodge, we were talking about it. I thought it'd be interesting to get some of the sources on Masonry and quote what they had to say. The Holy Bible is the great light of Masonry. You believe that?
I believe that.
So far, no responsible Masonic authority has held that a Freemason must believe the Bible or any part of it.
Because it's not a religion.
But what good does it do to talk about the Holy Bible as the great light of Masonry if you're not required to turn on a switch? You're walking around in darkness saying it's a great light.
When we come
back, you don't use it.
When we come back, I would like to read you the charge from the 1st degree.
Can I
allow that?
Can I give you the 3rd degree? Okay. Joke. The all-seeing eye pervades the innermost recesses of the human heart and will reward us according to our merits. Ritual. There is an immortal spark in man. Ritual. There was never a false God, nor was there ever really a false religion, unless you call a child a false man. Masonic Monitor. I, for one, can never understand how anyone who takes an exclusive view of Christ as the only revelation of God's truth can become a Freemason without suffering from spiritual schizophrenia. Be assured,
I've read that before.
Be assured that God is equally present with the pious Hindu in the temple, the Jew in the synagogue, the Mohammedan in the mosque, and the Christian in the church. Mackey's Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. Now, Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. Neither is there salvation in any other. There is no other name given under heaven among men whereby you must be saved. It is one of the basic tenets of Masonry, whether you want to own up to it or not, that whatever a brother's religion may be is irrelevant. He's still a brother, you defend him, and that inevitably he has as much a chance for eternal salvation as anybody else.
That's not strictly true.
In the Christian lodge, it might not be, but it is everywhere else.
It is. No, what we hold that a man's beliefs are sacred to himself. I can't tell a man as a member of a lodge.
Supposing they're false.
Well, then I would speak to him. I would witness to him as a Christian outside the lodge. I'm not going to make him a Christian inside the lodge.
So that you would say that when you have those prayers to the one supreme God and he doesn't agree with your Christian God, why are you praying?
We are praying to the same God, the one God,
are we?
The all-creating God, the same God that is on the dollar bill, and God we trust.
Right. And the Hindus too, and the Buddhists,
and the same all-seeing.
They're all doing that.
You're nitpicking, and that's not
no.
really what
That's
this is all about.
That's very factual. That's the minute. That's the crux of the whole thing. The God of the Bible is not the God of the Hindus. The God of the Bible is not the God of the Buddhists. The God of the Bible is not Allah. The God of the Bible is the Lord, eternal God who became man in Jesus Christ. You cannot call him by all these different names and say you're talking about the one God. That's biblical nonsense.
We are not doing that. When I
You just
say
said
a
that a
prayer,
minute
no,
ago.
when I say a prayer in lodge, I say a prayer to my God.
But they're praying to the same God.
No, when I acted as chaplain, I said my own prayer. I didn't even use the prayer.
In a Buddhist lodge.
There was no point in doing it.
In a Buddhist lodge, in a Zoroastrian lodge, in a Muslim lodge, are they praying to the same God you're praying to?
They are praying to their God.
To the same God you're praying to?
Well, no, I can't say that.
Then they're lost, right?
Yes, but they're still Masons.
But they're lost.
But they're still Masons.
So all your Masonic brothers, I want to get this out, all your Masonic brothers who reject Jesus Christ's gospel and follow these things, even in the full light of Masonry, are lost.
According to my beliefs as a Christian, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take a break and
But
we'll
that's
come
their
to...
choice.
All right.
I believe that. I believe you're right. Their
Okay.
choice.
We're going to take a break. Believe it. We'll take it, and we're going to take it right now, and we'll come right back. We're back, and we're talking about the relationship of the Masonic Lodge to Orthodox Christianity, and our guests are Bill Mankin from Boise, Idaho, who's a 32nd degree Mason, and Dr. Walter Martin of the Christian Research Institute. Gentlemen, I've got a book in my hands right here. It's called Duncan's Ritual of Freemasonry. And I've read this in a few books. Maybe I'm not supposed to, but I've got it, and I'm going to bring it up. It says that the Royal Arch degree, which is the 7th degree in the Masonic Lodge, describes the lost name of God as JBO. And the Masons here have a whole 2 pages right here describing what JBO means. Actually, Ja, Bull, and An is the entire word. Walter, I'm sure that you're familiar with this. Would you explain why, possibly as a Christian, you object to what the Royal Arch, or the 7th degree, Masons have sworn never to reveal this, and why it is that they're holding this?
Yah is the only only vowel and consonant that we know in Hebrew for the name of God in the Old Testament, Yah, J-A, or Y-A, depending upon it, pronunciation. On is for Osiris, the pagan god of the Egyptians, and Bul is for the concept of Baal. And you have an unholy trinity in which you unite 2 pagan concepts with the concept of the God of the Bible. And at least this has been documented and affirmed by scholars who have studied